Bonjour! Well, hello everyone, my name is Natacha Morice. Welcome to the Fashion Codes of Balmain.
The Fashion Codes is a series of videos to learn about the iconic creations and facts of a brand. And Natacha Morice is opening all the doors for you.
Hola! And of course, Balmain is full of codes. Balmain is a pyramid full of hieroglyphs. I will be your Champollion, the marinière, shoulder pads, gold everywhere, all the Balmain baroque. And Fabergé eggs for everyone. Who is Olivier Rousteing and who is Pierre Balmain? It's going to be the DNA of Balmain from A to Z. It's charisma, it's spirit, it's freedom. And I'm part of the Balmain army.
Hello, I'm Loic Prigent with Natacha Morice. Subscribe to my channel to learn everything about fashion, to know all the hit bags by heart, to be able to explain the difference between couture and ready-to-wear. Binge on all my fashion videos and don't forget to comment on your favorite code.
This is Les Codes de la Mode, English version. La vidéo est en anglais, mais les sous-titres sont disponibles. You have to subscribe. You will know more than those people in front row. Every detail will be logical. And when there is a fake, you'll be able to say, this is a fake. Thanks to whom? Bibi. Les Codes de la Mode, Balmain. Hey you! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fashion Codes of Balmain. Please fasten the seatbelts of your eyes. We are about to leave for the Balmain planet. First of all, it's Balmain. Balmain. Balmain, not Balmain. Balmain. And it's Olivier Rousteing. Rousteing. Not Rousteing. Rousteing. Repeat after me. Balmain, Rousteing. I know, it's not easy. It's couture. It's not couture. It's couture. And it's Paris, not Paris. Paris. Easy? Of course you do you. But it's Balmain. Embroideries. The first big retrospective of Pierre Balmain was in the 1980s in Paris. It was a shock because there were so many embroideries. And like Pierre Balmain, Olivier Rousteing adores extreme embroidery. But not your tiny cute embroidery. No, baroque embroidery. Not embroidery for queens, embroidery for empresses. He makes embroidery with anything, but most of all with trimming. Passementerie. Loic's favorite word. You're asking yourself, what is passementerie? This is passementerie. This is giving silver passementerie for space. It's ropes and ropes and ropes twisted together that become a garment. Yes, this is the white dress that was turned yellow with pens. Ludovic de Saint-Cernin was one of the interns on this dress. He also makes unseen embroidery with impossible materials. At the beginning of his career, he didn't care if you couldn't move in it. But today, I promise you can. Non. Taxi! Non, pas de taxi. One great Balmain moment is the Fabergé dress. You know, the Fabergé dress. You've probably seen it on Kim Kardashian for her bachelorette party in 2014. The Fabergé look comes from Olivier Rousteing's second show for Balmain. And it becomes iconic. The audience gasps. Fabergé! The inspiration was a Fabergé egg given to Elizabeth Taylor by Richard Burton. Rousteing found it both simple and beautiful. Apparently, Olivier and I don't have the same definition for simplicity. And yes, I'm wearing a piece from the Fabergé collection. I'm very happy. So there are pearls, canvas, baguette, crystals, beads, golden crystals. Ouais, voilà. Marie-Antoinette? This, madame, is Versailles. Olivier Rousteing also brought a new code to Balmain. The use of wicker. Yes, the wicker of chairs, but for dresses. Look at me. The first dresses made in wicker were for his Spring-Summer 2013 Balmain show. Mega iconic Balmain moment. French accent. He was inspired by Cuban chairs he saw in Miami. These dresses made the press go crazy. With this show, Olivier Rousteing instantly enters the top 10 of fashion designers. The shoulder pads. The shoulder pads are a tradition at Balmain by Olivier Rousteing. I'm holding a phone because a woman with this kind of shoulder pads always has a phone in her hand. It goes together. Yes, this is Natacha Morice. For Spring-Summer 2013, the models become glamazons. The shoulders are square, geometric. She is the CEO of fierce corporations. She owns everything. Don't you dare take the lift with her. Shoulder pads. Millions. For his Spring-Summer 2021 collection, the shoulder pads are even more pointy. Women are like elves of the office. Their jackets become razor blades, ready to sting you if you come too close. Ow! It's not a jacket, it's an evening gown. And it's quite camp actually. I'm giving you shoulder pads, I'm giving you Balmain. Pierre Balmain. Pierre Balmain was born on the 18th of May 1914 at Saint-Jean-de-Maurienne in Savoie. For you non-French people, it means in the French mountains near Switzerland, land of milk chocolates, thick socks and gruyère. In 1934, he goes to Paris and starts working for Édouard Molineux, a British couturier. He's in charge of preparing the sketches. He's a kind of intern, but a couture intern. In 1939, Pierre Balmain leaves for Lucien Lelon. This is very important. Lucien Lelon is one of the most important couturiers at the time. Imagine, Balmain worked for him, Dior worked at the same time for him, and even Givenchy later worked for him. So, Pierre Balmain starts working for Lelon, and then becomes in charge of creation, along with Christian Dior. The two become very close. What a duo! But they have very different personalities. Balmain, Dior, not the same. Dior makes himself an office at the end of the corridor, whereas Balmain chooses to put his desk among everyone else. Open space in the 1940s. I will let you guess which one parted more. Pierre Balmain is seen as the most outgoing French couturier, even does fittings bare-chested. Ooh. It seems like he shares a lot of personality traits with Olivier Rousteing. The history of Balmain. The birth of Balmain, 1945. 1945 is what we call in France Year Zero. It's the end of World War II, and there is something in the air, a call to start anew. In fashion, in music, in cinema, in art. Everyone feels like creating, to forget all the atrocities of the war. For example, Christian Dior establishes his house in 1947. Pierre Balmain is a bit quicker. He decides to leave Lelon, borrows money from his mother, and settles his house in 1945. His first address is at the 44 rue François 1er in Paris. That's near Avenue Montaigne. Balmain's first fashion show takes place on October 12, 1945, 6 months after V-Day. Can you imagine? His mother helps him during the last all-nighter before the show. She even gives him her own fur coats to upcycle them. We love moms. The collection is full of suits with basque, which are pads on the hips, just like in Dior's collection later. At the time, this is seen as a sign of rebirth. It means pretty ladies and happiness are coming back to the streets of France. They don't have to wear set clothes anymore. To describe this first collection, his friend and cult writer Gertrude Stein uses the term French New Style. The collection is rich, elegant. It's Paris, rising from its ashes after war. It's French couture, but without nostalgia. This, you see, is Balmain in 1945. Yes, you're not dreaming. The same guy who dresses the biggest princesses in the world was so modern, he could imagine this in 1945. This is not Yohji Yamamoto, this is Pierre Balmain. Pierre Balmain's style is classical. He maintains the same style all over his career. With marked shoulders, the breast is enhanced, a tiny waist, and a big coat or jacket on top of this. Pierre Balmain has a sense for business. In 1946, he starts making perfume. The first perfume is called Élysée. Of course, it's more Élysée than Champ. Balmain is almost too popular at the time, and it causes major fashion drama. Women arriving dressed with the same Balmain outfits at the same wedding. Oh Lord, KTB. Kill the bitch. He also creates for the theatre and the cinema. He dresses Juliette Gréco, Arletty, Marlène Dietrich, Catherine Hepburn, Sophia Loren, Brigitte Bardot, Dalida. It's a Balmain army, but no generals, only divas. It's a war, but with makeup. It's a blitz of glitz. Boris, I have platforms now. Thank you, Boris. Pierre Balmain dies in 1982. He has done all the sketches for his next collection, but didn't have time to choose the colors or the fabrics. So the ateliers decide to leave everything in white, without embroideries or colors, just like the drawings. Needless to say, everyone was crying at the show, and it is still today the only all-white Balmain collection ever. The Balmain designers.
In 1993, Oscar de la Renta arrives. He's a young fancy couturier. The Balmain fashion shows are packed. It's giving Gilded Age opulence. Christophe de Carnin then becomes the artistic director in 2005. It's the beginning of the mega shoulders, mini sparkling dresses. Christophe de Carnin puts the Balmain DNA today. It becomes more grunge, rock and roll, less classical, Jolies Madames. When he leaves the house after 11 years, his former right hand takes over. Ladies and gentlemen, Olivier Rousteing.
Olivier Rousteing grew up in Bordeaux, in the southwest of France. At the age of 18, he becomes an intern at Roberto Cavalli. He goes up the scale and quickly becomes one of the best in the office. When he becomes the creative director of Balmain in 2011, he's only 25 years old. Can you imagine? What were you doing at 25? I wasn't dressing Rihanna, I can tell you. At the time, Olivier Rousteing is the youngest creative director to be named at the head of a house since Yves Saint Laurent at Dior. Olivier Rousteing is also the first ever designer of color to be named at a French luxury house. In France and all over the world, he is a symbol. Olivier Rousteing opens up the doors of Balmain. The castings are more inclusive. He is inspired by Oscar de la Renta for his love of feminine curves, and also inspired by the glam rock aesthetics of Christophe de Carnin. Models break onto the podium like Valkyries with tiny dresses in ropes and supersized shoulders. I love saying that. The runways are huge. The location is l'Opéra de Paris. The crowd is 10,000 people. Olivier Rousteing loves a Balmain spectacle. The Balmain dresses scream, "I'm going to kill a snake with my bare hands and my stilettos."
His first show, the Spring-Summer 2012, is like a vitamin that boosts the house and the whole Paris Fashion Week.
Olivier Rousteing also made his own revolution. When he begins as creative director of Balmain, fashion is not really into curves. Well, let's be honest, it's not really into anything that isn't blonde, tall, white and skinny. At that time, Olivier decides to dress Rihanna and Beyoncé. He even invites Kim Kardashian to his show. Okay, I know that those of you Gen Z TikTokers think I'm crazy, but I can assure you that before 2015, Kimi couldn't come to a fashion show. Incroyable. Ah non, Kim, elle rentre pas. Hein. And now they're like, "Oh, Madame Kim, oh, can I have a hair?" Why? Because fashion is a snob. And the celebrity from a reality show was not considered as fashion royalty. I know, weird, old people, old views. Olivier Rousteing is not afraid to dress a woman with boobs and a world-class bum. As a matter of fact, he loves it. Hello, remember me? My dress is like a bell. I feel like ringing. Ding, dong. It's Balmain o'clock. Originally, the house of Balmain is haute couture. Olivier Rousteing even did one couture collection for Balmain. And I'm wearing one of the dresses. This is haute couture. It's yours if you have a million. But until midnight, it's mine. Then back to pumpkin. Even if there is no couture fashion shows, you can still buy couture from Balmain. This, for example, is a couture dress. Sculpted leather and 3D printed bustier. I am still Natacha under this carapace. Olivier Rousteing is also the first designer to get into Instagram. He is the example of an influencer designer. Everyone knows his face, everyone knows his name, he does selfies. He was the first designer to do selfies. I know, but histoire de la mode. In the beginning, the PR team at Balmain went crazy. They were like, "No, Olivier, no selfies. Nobody does selfies. It will never be fashionable." And then when they saw the millions of followers, "Do a selfie, Olivier. Come on, what are you doing? It's not fashionable not to do selfie. Come on, do selfie, Olivier." And Olivier Rousteing is not scared of e-shopping. He was the first designer to do it. In 2015, his H&M and Balmain collection goes out and boom, it sold out the same day. They even had a version of this jacket. But this is Balmain. If you got this jacket from H&M, please comment below. We want your name. And bravo. The Jolies Madames. Jolie, pretty, Madame, woman, pretty woman. After 12 successful collections, Pierre Balmain wants to find his true look, his DNA that he will be able to leave behind. He calls it the Jolies Madames, pretty woman. His feminine ideal. His collections become less sporty, less decontracted, less eccentric. He focuses on realistic garments for the city. Think flannel suits. Or little cocktail dresses in velvet or satin. With Olivier Rousteing, the Jolies Madame look evolves. She is elegant, of course. She walks with her hands on her hips. Her waist is tightened, her shoulders are padded. She's the woman that makes heads spin. Olivier Rousteing likes to spread gold on his creations like salt. The designer grew up in Bordeaux, a beautiful French city with an important bourgeoisie. The bourgeois architecture of the city is also decorated with gold. Once Olivier Rousteing arrives at Balmain, gold becomes an element of his Jolies Madames. The 6 golden buttons jacket is a recurring element of Olivier Rousteing's collections. Look, I'm wearing one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there are 2 lions with wings on them. It comes from the military closet that Olivier Rousteing loves dearly, just like Pierre Balmain. With this jacket, the Balmain woman looks calm and organized. We're not in a Friday night kind of mood. Look, I look calm and organized. I tell you, without the jacket, I don't. The Labyrinth monogram. Hey! Yes, there is a monogram. The Labyrinth monogram was created in 1970 by Monsieur Balmain. If you look closer, you can actually realize that it is a P and a B intertwined. P like Pierre, B like Balmain. But also B like Balmain and P like Paris. It also evokes the gardens of the Renaissance that were labyrinth. For the Spring-Summer 1971 collection, the labyrinth is in full look on a model. The monogram was a bit forgotten, voire complètement oublié. But Olivier Rousteing brought it back in 2020. And this old version of Balmain bag becomes this one by Olivier Rousteing. Similar, but not the same. I like it because it's the shape of a newspaper. With this, your newspaper is never wet. So pratique. Merci Balmain. New York Herald Tribune. Yes, I know, another Godard reference. Stop, Natacha. Black and white. Black and white is a very important... Oh, sorry, wrong dress. No. Much better. Black and white has been a typical color of the house since Pierre Balmain. His couture collections could be very sober in that way. The house has kept this code. Even Olivier Rousteing's office is black and white, but in marble. The sailor sweater. The sailor sweater, or breton sweater, or marinière, is a key element of the Balmain closet. Olivier Rousteing wears it all the time. Olivier again in the marinière! Olivier every day in the marinière, hein? Selfie in the marinière. The sailor sweater is also part of the fashion language of Gabrielle Chanel and Jean-Paul Gaultier. But this garment doesn't belong to anyone. It is part of the common wardrobe. It's practical, not pretentious. The stripes flatter your body. It gives you a je ne sais quoi. Suddenly, you're French. You buy baguettes. You know how to answer to an impolite waiter. You pay a lot of taxes. And you lie that you love it. You're sick, go to the hospital, it's free. Prends un Doliprane avec un verre de rouge, ça fera passer. At a Balmain fashion show, the sailor sweater gives you time to rest your eyes. It's like melatonin for the eyes. Stripes in black and white or blue and white. And of course, Olivier Rousteing reinvents the marinière every collection. Fashion tip, this is how Olivier wears the marinière. Now, fashion story time. In 1956, Brigitte Bardot burst into Balmain's HQ. Brigitte Bardot was the Beyoncé of 1956. So, drama number 1, she's going to be presented to Queen Elizabeth II. And drama number 2, Marilyn Monroe will be presented at the same time. Now that's competition. Marilyn Monroe was the Marilyn Monroe of the time. You remember the dress from Kim Kardashian? That Marilyn Monroe. Big competition. Brigitte Bardot stumbles upon Ginette, the director of the House of Balmain. She explains that she needs to have a bigger cleavage than Marilyn. First, Ginette tells her that maybe she should focus on her bowing first. They spend the whole afternoon practicing. And then the Balmain seamstresses create for her a dress with press-stud. So when the queen wasn't looking, poof! Free the nipple! Marilyn, oublié. In front of the queen, closed. Queen looking elsewhere, poof! Hello world! Boom! Paf! Balmain. Balmain and Beyoncé. For Queen Bee's performance at Coachella in 2018, Olivier Rousteing worked closely with her and her stylist. He created not one, but 2 collections. He dressed Beyoncé, her musicians, and her dancers. The clothes had subliminal messages on them. One of the most commented outfits was a black sweater, referencing inter-university fraternities. On it, you could see Nefertiti, an African queen, a Black Panther as the political movement, a black fist in the air, symbol of the Black Panthers, and a bee, because Queen Bee, of course. That's it, everyone! Thank you for watching! I hope you enjoyed getting lost in the labyrinth with me. Of course, there is many more Balmain mysteries, but less than when you began this video. Do I get to keep the dress?
No, Natacha.
Comment about your favorite Balmain collection. Mine is Fabergé, on le sait. Please!
But you get to pay for them.
All the other episodes of the Fashion Codes are available on our channel. Click below to subscribe. Can I pay you with a smile? Au revoir! Take care! I'm leaving now! You like my dress? Subscribe to the channel and you will get one free. Promise. It's midnight! Thank you.